Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your friend and your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today we have some pretty big news for Ahsoka Season 2. It's been nearly a month since we've had any major updates for it, but spring is coming. March 1st is tomorrow, brighter, warmer days to come, and with those, hopefully some amazing Star Wars stories. And the one project I'm most excited for this year, if it is still coming this year, is Dave Filoni's Ahsoka Season 2. The stakes are enormous, we've got some of the best villains of the Disney Star Wars era, and despite Ahsoka being a heavily criticized show, a pretty maligned Star Wars series to be honest, I'm excited. I think Dave is going to give us something very special. And today, we're focusing on the main villain of the future of the Mandoverse, Grand Admiral Thrawn, an expanded universe fan favourite, a Star Wars Rebels fan favourite. Whether you discovered the chiss in the pages of Timothy Zahn, or on screen in animation, or in live action, he is back in the known galaxy. And today, we have an enormous update. Lars Mikkelsen recently spoke to a Danish radio podcast about what fans can expect. In a career-spanning interview where he opened up about various roles he's played over the years, inevitably, the subject of Star Wars and Ahsoka came up. And Lars gave us a few very interesting tidbits. He confirms Season 2 is done filming, and he's done his scenes, but he clarifies he has no idea when Star Wars fans are going to get to see it. Lucasfilm hasn't told any of the cast yet, but arguably the most fascinating reveal from Lars is about Thrawn's appearance. He's going to be a bit different in Season 2. Before I elaborate on this, I just want you to think back to the other day. Sam Witwer, Darth Maul, told Star Wars Insider that Dave Filoni's one and only mandate for Maul Shadow Lord was to do everything better. A bit like George Lucas's advice with the prequel trilogy, to scale everything up and to try and make the best Star Wars product fans have ever enjoyed. Well, it sounds as though the new Lucasfilm co-president has the same approach for his live-action show, because according to Lars, for Ahsoka Season 2, they've reworked the makeup and the costume, so Thrawn is going to be different. And this goes hand in hand with other changes we've heard about, using on-location filming, real-life environments and sets, not relying on the volume. Iman Esfandi talked about potential changes with Ezra, Hayden Christensen fight scenes as Anakin's ghost. They're really going all out, and that's one of the biggest reasons I'm still so excited for this. Ahsoka might end up being one of those shows where the first season was promising and was solid, but really found its wings in Season 2, especially knowing this could be the end of the Mandoverse, because there are no seasons of any spin-offs confirmed after it. But on the subject of Thrawn's appearance, the change could come after heavy criticisms were levied towards him in the first season. This was twofold. Obviously, there were criticisms about the way he looked, but also the way he acted, his nonsensical tactics, and how his motivations don't match the Thrawn from Rebels or even the canon books. Set aside the Thrawn trilogy or the duology, I'm just talking about within Disney Star Wars canon. There was no indication he was worried about an extragalactic threat, and fans found it really weird he was loyal to the Empire that fell, the one he was just using for his own purposes, for the purposes of the Chiss ascendancy. So while Lars is just talking about physical changes, I'm hoping for improvements in the writing. And in the same way Ahsoka's undergone a physical evolution between Mando, Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka, we might see significant improvements to Thrawn's live-action look, and that's pretty cool. And to be honest, I hope this applies across the board, because I would argue there was more criticism levied towards Harrison Jula's appearance, notably the texture of the green makeup and the jarring contact lenses. But in addition to this, Lars Mikkelsen says he shot his Ahsoka scenes at Pinewood Studios, a classic Star Wars filming location. But when he was asked if he's going to be in the Mandalorian and Grogu, he flat out says, no, he isn't. He doesn't want to disappoint fans who are expecting the Grand Admiral to make some kind of cameo. And usually, I'd say something along the lines of, take this with a pinch of salt. But I have to be honest, I believe him. This is something we heard about very early on. We've known about this for many months. There is no Thrawn in the movie. There are some other connections with Zeb, Pelion is rumoured, but in terms of Thrawn, the answer is no. Maybe a name drop or a reference, but all of the scoopers and reliable insiders have said Jon Favreau is not touching him. That part of the Mandoverse is down to Dave. Anything that concerns Dathomir, Enoch, the Great Mothers, is gonna continue in Ahsoka Season 2, not the Mando movie. But a question I've been wondering about is when exactly does The Mandalorian and Grogu take place? Jon Favreau says after the 3rd season, but the chronology of the Mandoverse generally has been confusing and so darn messy. Many reference books say that everything takes place in the same year, when that's clearly not the case. I guess what I really want to know is, does The Mandalorian and Grogu take place adjacent to Ahsoka Season 2, or is it just before it? Where does it sit in correlation to the Ahsoka Season 1 finale? Has Thrawn landed on Dathomir yet? And has he contacted the Shadow Council? Is this something the Remnant finds out at the end of the movie, or are these events just before Thrawn comes back? Are they gonna act as if he's not around? Because Pellaeon kept telling them that Thrawn is coming back, but they didn't seem too convinced. So I personally think that this is the best fan estimate for when everything in the Mandoverse takes place. So Season 1 is 9 ABY. Season 2 picks up a year later. The Book of Boba Fett, they say 2 years on from Season 2. That does seem a bit lengthy to me, because it means Grogu was training with Luke for longer than it seemed. I would have assumed a few months. Mando Season 3 and Ahsoka take place in the same year in 13 ABY, and Skeleton Crew is a year later. Now, here's the thing. According to information from Star Wars Celebration in London, Skeleton Crew takes place at the same time as Mando and Ahsoka. The problem with this is one character, the pirate Vane, who appears in both Mando and Skeleton Crew. There's no way he's doing all of that stuff in the same year. A lot has happened in his life, working with Brutus, Jod, and Seaweed Guy, so I like this notion that a year or so has passed, at least a few months. And this fan estimation also puts the Mandalorian and Grogu movie a year after Skeleton Crew, and 2 full years after Season 3 and Ahsoka. If that's the case, surely the Shadow Council knows that Thrawn is back. Unless, as some of the concept art at Celebration suggested, Thrawn is going to spend some time on Dathomir building his own micro-empire. He might have his own thing going on in secret. Maybe at the end of the film, like I say, there is some kind of allusion to Thrawn coming back, some symptoms in the galaxy, and if Lucasfilm is smart, they'll cross-mark it, encourage fans to check out the TV show on Disney+. So those are just a few updates for today, my friends. Share your thoughts in the comments down below, and what do you think? And if you want some more Mando content, I've been making Mandalorian and Grogu videos all throughout this month, so go check out some of those, including yesterday's video. I think you, specifically you, are really going to enjoy it. But until the next one, my dear friends, may the Force be with you, always.